I've pastored in previous locations in Philadelphia, and here I am pastoring again, a wonderful congregation of over 250 member congregation. We've always been active in the community, and we're trying to re-engage and get back involved in dealing with school board issues, dealing with food equity issues, dealing with the homeless issue, which is a huge issue in Norristown and Montgomery County. And those are just some of the issues that we're trying to get engaged and be active in working with. In all places and where I had ministries, I always sought first to create a relationship with the community, because that's just who I was as an individual. And in the process of preaching and teaching, I had different jobs in social work, foster care, children, youth, and family services. So I was always involved in dealing with issues that were more social services type thing, dealing with homelessness and other things. And so that kind of always led me as a pastor to be socially active, working with local police departments, working with some of the local nonprofits, and trying to engage and do things in the community. When I was in Mantua, we did things as a collective group with some of the local churches. And then when I went to Mount Zion, I certainly did the same thing. I've always took the strategy that if there was one church that was doing a homeless kitchen and another church that was doing education, our job was not to do the same thing, but to help them. I always believed in teaming, not duplicating what others was, but helping others kind of grow and teaming up with them to do things as a collective body. And so now I'm here in Macedonia. Thought I was retired, and here I am in trying to do a lot of the same kind of strategy, partnering with local churches to see where we can work together. And also, because of my background, and I've been around a while, I've kind of looked over. I served 8 years as a school board member for Tredyffrin Easttown. So it gave me an insight of how school boards work. Got elected twice, became vice president and president of a school board that never had a black elected official on it in its history. And became the first black president to ever serve on that particular school board. So, I've always been never fear trying to make history, but always trying to do the right thing. And so I'm here with that experience of being a teacher, being one who's been in social work, being one who's had to run active campaigns in a local area, and taking all of that to be a help to where I am in Norristown, where the school district is struggling, where homeless has been an issue for as long as I can remember. Unfortunately, everybody likes to bring the homeless here and make it a Norristown problem. And we've got to find ways to bring solutions to that rather than moving them here or tearing things down here. So between those issues of education, homelessness, and certainly violence and food equity, and now with the immigration issue, because the greatness of Norristown is we are the most diverse neighborhood, community, township in the area of Pennsylvania. And so with that greatness comes all the other issues that deals with that. And so as a church, we're continuing to focus on saving souls, which is always our first and top, priority, but along with also concern about the whole individual, health issues, spiritual issues, social issues, and trying to help people overcome the things that stand before them or keep them from being able to be the best that they can be. I think there's a struggle, especially in churches today, where how much does the church get involved in the community, to the point of, does it get involved into the political realm? You have, now this whole nationalism perspective, and how's that clouded everything? Again, I stick to where the word takes me. I'm not here to pick a winner and loser in politics from my role as a pastor. My role is sort of the umpire. I call the balls and strikes. When wrong is wrong, we should preach about it. When right is right, we should highlight it. And that's who we are. But in the same time, if we see people who are being wronged by the government or whoever, we should stand for justice for all. And that's biblical. I mean, Jesus always dealt with, those issues. We don't always the church struggles with, I don't, in some cases, they don't want you to tell them who to vote for, and I'm not here to tell them as a pastor who to vote for. But I am here to tell them when things are wrong. And when our politicians or those in government or in our school districts are not doing the things that they should be doing, when our kids' proficiency level is at 30 and 25% in reading and math, somebody's got to say something. And we just can't sit back, because if my children can't read in school, that means they can't read the Bible in church. And so one affects the other. And so the church has to have a voice in speaking up for things that we see is right or wrong. And there's a balance to it. But in the same sense, we have to always maintain our front and first purpose is spiritual. And keeping that and moderating and keeping on that line is sometimes tough, because the political can shake you here or shake you there. But I don't answer to any politician. I don't answer to any political party. I answer to God. And my focus is always doing what is righteous and what is right. And I'm always going to fight for people to be treated as Christ has treated us. And there are certain things we see in the world where people are talking about immigrants, but the Bible reminds us, even in the Old Testament, if we treat foreigners just like they are part of our family. In the Old Testament, they even made ways for them to have goods if they didn't have it. That was part of the Old Testament. So there's this sense that now we even see churches lead the way against immigration and things of that nature, but that ain't biblical. And we got to hold those things. We got to hold people to be accountable. The Bible is not where you cherry pick what you want and cherry pick what you don't like. And so that's where our challenges comes in. Again, is that umpire calling the balls, calling the strikes, and calling it as it is.